Welcome to Paranormal Gateway Paratalk. I'm the host Scott Wise, and tonight with two special guests from New York, two investigators from the New York Paranormal, Jay Gridley and Larry Langdon. From Jay's lifelong clairsentient experiences growing up in rural New York to Larry's investigations at haunted locations like Gridley Hill Santorium and Bob Mackey's music world. Tonight's discussion lies deep in the haunted locations, paranormal evidence, public investigations, and realities of life with paranormal investigators. Without further ado, let's welcome Jay and Larry to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. I guess start a quick couple questions here, and then we get to
Sure.
some more stuff we were talking about. But what first sparked your guys' interest in the paranormal?
Why don't you go ahead, Larry? Oh, believe it or not, I met a lady whose house was investigated on the ghost hunters. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep looking at the darn TV. This lady I was friends with, her house was investigated by the ghost hunters, and I got invited to a follow up investigation there, and I was hooked after that. That was back in 2006.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got 20 years. Yeah, 20 years. Yeah.
That's about I started about 22 or something, so I started before after you get back from the ghost hunters. I think they started around 2004 or about 5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It was the second. I keep doing it. It was the second season, Scott. TV. It was on the same episode as Valentine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So pretty early on.
Yeah, and as far as my background, I was kind of born into it when I was real young. I grew up down in the Finger Lakes and out in a very rural area, a trailer in the middle of the woods, and I was very clairsentient, and I didn't realize that at the time. I thought I was just like everybody else, and what I would do, every day because our nearest neighbor, was a ways away, half mile to a mile away, is I would always go out and play in the woods every day, and I would play with the neighbor kids that would come out. And one day, my brother happened to come out to grab me for lunch, and when he saw me playing and talking and carrying on, he wondered who I was talking to. And then when I pointed to my friends as they were now scurrying away, he pretty much told me I was crazy and I had to, not talk about it anymore. And if anybody found out, that they would send me away. And so just typical brother behavior. And so after that, I kind of shut it down a little bit, the ability to see spirits and to interact with spirits. And fast forward to 2000, I moved to Rochester, New York, to go to college. And I was reading this publication that they used to have out called Freetime Magazine. And it would always have, what bands were playing where, in the coming up week, and, like restaurants, promotions, just a local promotion, publication. And they did it, every week. But in the back, they would have classified ads. And I happened to be looking in the classified ads, and I saw that, they were looking for a paranormal investigator. This group was. And that was the first I ever really heard of that, and I didn't realize, because this is before, TV shows. And so I just replied to it, I'm like, yeah, this sounds cool. I used to be able to. And I would always have experiences, then on, from childhood up to 2000, but I just always kind of just kept them to myself. And it just got to the point, where I would see something, I would see a spirit walk by, I knew it was a spirit, but I just wouldn't interact with it. It wouldn't faze me. It would just be like, watching a deer cross the road. It's just in my mind and out of it just that quick. But when I saw this group, that was looking to investigate paranormal, I, reached out to it. I got hired on, real quick, and I joined the band. We did not band, joined the group, and that was later.
Yeah.
And I joined the group and did a lot of cool investigations. Got a lot of great experiences, and I really started to flourish again. And so I was in that group for about a year. After 6 months, I was the lead investigator. And after about a year, I figured, this group is great, but I think I want to go in a different direction. And so I started my first group, and it was called Life After Death Paranormal. And that was probably, early 2000s. And did that group for a while, and then I had a couple other groups after that. I had Upstate Paranormal Society. There was one or two more. Each one kind of focused on a different style of investigating paranormal, because I was trying to find myself a little bit, and it's like how I wanted to do it. And at this point, TV shows were starting to come out, like Ghost Adventures and Ghost Detectives, all that stuff. And so I was being, kind of influenced on what was working for them. And so that was having a little hand in where I was going too, because I would start out, kind of doing like a not really aggressive style of investigating, but, definitely assertive. And that was when I was like real young, and stupid. And so did that for a while. Then I went to the more spiritual side, to where that's when I started bringing mediums into the group and kind of went that angle with it, and less aggressive or assertive, I'm going to keep saying. And so then fast forward to like 2014, 2015. After a few groups, I started New York Paranormal. And in New York Paranormal is comprised of members of each of my previous groups. And I think there's a couple new ones, but members of my previous groups. And it was kind of like, picking like the best ones out of each of them and brought all of them together. And, some of them, including Larry, have been investigating with me for, 12, 15 years. And so that's how New York Paranormal started. And so we have a great team now. It's very, very much a family atmosphere. We have a lot of fun. We don't take it too serious, but when we need to be serious, then we're, top notch. We get what we need done. And so that's where we're at now. And we do a lot of investigations pretty much from Buffalo to Syracuse, going down into the southern tier of New York State. Regular investigations, haunted locations. We get hired for private investigations for people in their homes that have stuff going on that they can't explain. They really want answers. We do a ton of those. We've done dozens of those. We had one real estate company hire us to come into a location to determine if it was haunted or not, because the previous owner of this location said it was, and he wanted to know if he had to, say that it was, when he was, listing that location. And then we also, do a lot of promotions, paranormal promotions, where we'll go into a location and get kind of hired by them, and we'll hold public investigations there for however long we need. Our best one was at a place called the Phelps Hotel, and we were there for 2 years. And we held 10 investigations over those 2 years, at 20 people per investigation, and each one was sold out. Did very well. And all the money from those investigations went right to the hotel, helped pay their utility bills. It helped keep them afloat, and helped relieve some of the stress so that they could focus on the serious behind the scenes stuff that they were dealing with. And so, but since then, that location did end up closing up. And so, we are looking for others, other locations that do the same thing with. And in the meantime, we focus on doing, one investigation a month. Right now, we're focusing in Fairport, New York, at a place called the Land House. It's a mansion in Fairport, New York, and it's also a restaurant, speakeasy. It's a couple of bars in it, and it's a great location. We just went there for the first time about a month ago, and we got our evidence review ready for them, and we're going back to do that evidence review and to reinvestigate. And then we got a handful of others that we are going back to, because what we like to do is we like to go to these locations and we get our evidence, and then when we go back to the locations, we try to repeat the evidence, to prove it. And that's what we call, building a paranormal profile of a location. Because if we can go back there 2 or 3 times and get the same person talking to us, saying the same name of that person, and telling us the same thing or similar similar things, then that kind of provides us that this is true evidence, and that we are communicating with somebody on the other side. And that's really what we focus on doing.
Yeah. That's cool. So, how has your investigative style evolved over the years?
How's your style evolved over the years? Mine, I'll start. I was talking, I was listening to what Jay was talking, and when I first started out, I was around people that were provocative. But now I deal strictly with the spiritual, with the spirits, entities, whatever you want to call them.
Sure. Why
But I'm sorry. I'm also scientifically based too. I use a lot of recorders, camcorders, REM pods, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I definitely started out more assertive with the investigations, in the fact I was very, naive, and I was very ignorant as far as, how things go, because I think that's how most investigators start. And as they gain experience and as they realize, what works in spirit communication, the positive kind that actually gets you steady experiences, it's not with the negative, it's not with provoking. And so that was a very short-lived. And so now that was back, in the 2010 era. And so now it's really based on spiritual communication, as far as back and forth, a lot of EVP talk back and forth, a lot of spirit box back and forth is what I use to talk, because it's like REM pods, any kind of the EMF trigger equipment, that's great and all, but I really want to hear a voice. I want to hear who I'm talking to, and I want to, because when I hear a voice, I can kind of put a face to it. And so I really want to build kind of like a relationship with that spirit, so that they're comfortable with me to talk to me, so that hopefully, they'll talk more. And so I'm solely, kind of based on, using recorders, using spirit box so I can hear them talk, and then using, audio, video, cameras and recorders as well.
So what makes your group different from other groups?
That's a good question. I know the answer.
All right, go for it.
The answer to that one is that we keep getting invited back over and over again.
Oh, okay.
And we're told how professional we are.
I'll do it.
And we also, if the people that hired us on want to investigate with us, we let them, and we have them interact as well. And that goes a long way towards building a solid relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we, when we go into a location, it's very planned out, as far as, our entry into the location to our demeanor inside the location. We always go in as a group and kind of have, all together, kind of going slow, kind of have our energy high, so that we're more, inviting and not, intimidating. Because anytime you have, 8, 10 people going into a location, it's going to change the energy of that location. And it is going to change the energy that the spirits in that location are used to and that they're comfortable in. And so the last thing we want to do is kind of barge in like the Kool-Aid man and say, we're here. And then that just kind of, exactly, that sends like a shockwave through the house, and the spirits get spooked. And so they all go outside and go away from us, until we leave. And so that can really work against you. And then when we're inside a location, we're very close and we do a lot, we'll joke around and stuff, like in between, like going to like different hotspots or different areas of location. And like during, equipment setup, we'll kind of joke around and we'll kind of, talk about whatever. And so we try to keep the energy high, and just so that we can be less threatening, to the spirits. And so that they will feel more comfortable coming out. And I feel that does make a difference in our, success that we've had. And other groups, I don't know, I've seen other groups, where, that they can be a little too serious. They can still be a little bit aggressive. And I just feel like they kind of shoot themselves in the foot without knowing it. And I feel when they shoot themselves in the foot and they're not getting the evidence that they wanted, because they wanted, to come in and all of a sudden, see a guy walk by and have, stuff go off and stuff, doors open and close. When they don't see that immediately, then that kind of frustrates them to the point where they start, getting more aggressive. And that's what I think kind of separates us from the other teams, because, we do have the investigations where, we will spend 8 hours in a room talking to furniture and nothing will happen that night. And that's just the way it is. And it's not that the location isn't haunted. It's just, it's not active that night. And that could be based on anything from, a moon cycle, gravitational pull, temperature. Maybe our energy did come in a little bit too abruptly, and so there's a lot of factors that could lead to a bad burn in that location or in that room at that time. And it's just, you have to be okay with that. And it's not a a home run every investigation. And we're definitely cool with that. And the equipment that we have, using the spirit boxes, we usually get pretty good evidence. Here be it, sometimes the evidence and the spirits we're talking to aren't in the actual building, they're close by, but at least, we are able to communicate. And every time we communicate, we learn about someone, and we learn a little bit more about talking with the other side and what works and what doesn't.
All right. So what qualities do you look for in your team members?
That's a good question.
Yeah. When looking for my team members, I'm definitely looking for maturity. I'm looking for maturity, but a laid back attitude and openness. I definitely don't want anybody that comes in that's too serious about it, and that is that gets frustrated easily when things just don't happen for them. And so I want someone that is easy to be around, has a good energy. I sense energies very, very well. I'm very sensitive to energies, and I can tell, just being in a room with a person, how they are. And that's what I look for. And I try to keep like a well-rounded team. It's like on our team, we have, a few skeptics, we got a few investigators, we got a few mediums, and I try to keep a even mixture of all three, because you really do need all three. We need the investigator to go out and get the evidence, the skeptic to say, hey, but it could have been this, and the mediums to help us, further our communication, with the spirits. And it works out very well. If we do a large investigation, then, I'll break up the teams and have, at least one investigator, one skeptic, and one medium in each of the groups, going around. And the new investigators that come on, the newest one that we brought on. His name is Zach. Met him. We did a public evidence reveal at the Rose Community Center, which is, about a half hour from here. And it's one of those that I did a paranormal talk. We had a big presentation set, and we displayed a lot of evidence that we caught from different locations around New York State. And I explained kind of how the investigations work, and just did like Q&As throughout there. And Zach was there, and he was asking, great questions. He was very enthusiastic, and he's just a great guy. And it was one of those, all of us felt it. And he has had one of those personalities that all of us just were kind of drawn to. We just always, always looked at him. And after the presentation, we invite him out to, an investigation with us, to kind of, give him like a little, trial run. And went out, and he made it look easy. He felt very comfortable with what he was doing. He was very open to criticism and suggestions, for me and the more senior investigators, just like, hey, let's not do this. Let's try this. And he was like, okay. Well, he was very cool about it and very open and just to, try anything. And so that's the type of person, that we're looking for, is someone that is, excited, open-minded, willing to take the criticism, to learn more and to just be at the investigations with us. And that's really, what got him on the team. And he's been great ever since.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my group was together for probably 14 years, I guess.
Okay.
We're a Ghost and Spirit Paranormal. So we like I said, we did a couple of investigations up at Palmar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. I just drove by there on the way here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Whenever I go through Palmyra, I go down Market Street and I drive by just see if I can't see something.
Yeah, we got some of the best EVP stuff there.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had probably my best piece of evidence that I've ever encountered, even though it wasn't like crazy scary. It was from the Williams Phelps store, which is yeah. And what it was, this was back, I don't know, probably 2015-ish time frame. I was there with two other investigators named Todd and Johnny, and it was just the three of us in the building. There was nobody else there. And I knew that because I had the key and I locked the door behind me as I walked in. And so there's no way anybody could come in. And so we were doing the investigation, and we were up on the third floor, which I'm sure you remember where the bedrooms are.
Yeah.
Of Jack and of Sybil and everybody up there. And we're up on the third floor and doing EVP session. And we started hearing footsteps on the second floor, where the dining room is and where Molly is. And so I sat at the very top step on the third floor with Todd and Johnny behind me. And I heard the loudest, clearest footsteps going on downstairs on the second floor. And it was all hardwoods that I had just ever heard. And that was the strongest piece of evidence that I've experienced with my own ears. I mean, yeah, I've seen spirits and stuff. I've seen crawlers. I've seen and heard other stuff. But this was so clear. I mean, the footsteps echoed in the room. And it was phenomenal. And I did a couple of years later, probably 10 years later, I was doing a public investigation there where, we brought people in, they paid, for tickets, they investigate with us. And I was sitting in a room on the second floor and where Holly is. And I was sitting, I had my back to like this little hallway that connected to the dining room. Tracy, the manager of the location now, she was sitting across from me. Well, I happened to look over to my shoulder because I felt something different. And I looked over my shoulder, and about 5 feet behind me, there was a small boy and wearing like a nightgown. And it was like an off-white colored nightgown. And he just kind of looked at me with kind of like a blank stare, kind of like, what are you guys doing? Why are you here? And so I looked across, the room at Tracy, who was only 6 feet in front of me. I kind of just, said, Tracy. And she looked at me, and I just pointed behind me to where this little boy was. And her jaw just dropped. And it was just like, it was a very cool experience. And then when I turned back around and look again, he was gone. And so, but that was great. I mean, that location being so close to the canal, that they do get a lot of spirits that kind of just like pop in because they're attracted to the energy of the location. That they're going up and down the canalway, because it's easy to move for them. But then when they feel, the Phelps store and the museum, then they kind of like, hop off and they go and they check it out for a day or two. Then they go back to wherever they were going. And those are a couple of my best pieces of evidence that I got there. And that place is still very solid as far as, when you're doing the William Phelps store, when you're down in the actual store part, if you do, yell up, towards the steps, towards the third floor, and hello, hi, Sybil, can you hear me? Sybil's like the famous entity that still resides there. Then I'd say 75% of the time, you'll hear her respond. And, it's usually delayed by about 2 or 3 minutes, but she does respond. And Bonnie, who you knew, she played me the best EVP I've ever heard. Larry's got some great ones that we got like in the Lions Museum and stuff like that. But she played me a EVP from Sybil talking, and it was clear as day. It was a little quiet, it kind of sounded like she was across the room, which that's how spirits sound. But she said, "Can you please tell me who else has died?" And that was just gave me chills. It gave me chills now just hearing it. And that was just the best EVP I've ever heard.
Do you want to hear
there?
Want to hear what I got from Fluff Store?
Yeah,
I have it here. Me and Sybil talking.
Maybe.
Just want Larry in.
Yeah, he'll know because he worked there as a tour
You'll
guide.
hear your voice. I explained it more in the dining room doing a session, and there was a light on the computer, and Larry says, "Is that supposed to be doing that?" And seconds later, we hear a voice from downstairs where the recorder picked up, and it sounds like Stephen Fielder sounds like a woman saying, "Come on down with us."
Okay.
Right.
Come on down with us.
Hey, come on out. These guys came all the way
It's
from
me.
Pennsylvania to come and see you. Did that light just go out on that computer? Is there a reason that did that?
There was definitely
I
a
did.
woman.
Yeah.
A nice one.
And that was definitely Larry talking.
Yeah, that's Tony.
Yeah, I think that was Sybil. I did recognize that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her voice is pretty distinct.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
High pitched.
So you guys want to talk about some vacations you want to?
Sure. Yeah. Did you want to play that one clip from Hinsdale?
Yeah, sure. I'll do it right now.
Yep, that was one of my favorites.
The balloon just came down.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hello. Is that backlight?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing the balloon back. You turn the flashlight on for me? Oh, thank you.
Oh, thanks. That was fast.
Yeah. That was very good. I'm impressed. Now here on the table in front of me, I got the 2 little boxes that light up. If you come closer to us, it'll make the lights go up. I know you like doing that. Oh, there it is.
Wow.
Yep, they both went to red.
That's very cool. All right, so we're getting some good action here already. people just signed on. I had that balloon right up next to that flashlight, right there, and it just came flying back down. There's nobody upstairs.
There's no way for any wind flow to have
Yeah,
affected it.
there's definitely no wind up there. Everything's boarded shut, or closed up.
Wow.
Very, very good evidence.
There's,
Yeah.
Very good
Um,
evidence.
there's something else with Hinsdale we got. We were there for the whole weekend, Friday to Sunday.
Yeah.
So we got a weird ass noise in the woods that we picked up, and I was like, it sounded like a Bigfoot orgy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not going on. I'll do a couple seconds, but there's we had a recorder on the porch because my tea was outside smoking, and I heard this in the woods. Holy shit! So we record out, and do you think it's about early in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning?
Yeah.
You can hear birds chirping, and if you listen closely, it sounds like it's something scores the recorder, and then you hear like some grunts around it, and then over the distance you'll hear the howling and stuff, and it does sound like kind of in a week was there, but it goes on for 3 minutes. I'll play a minute everywhere, but you have to hear this. It might turn up a little bit, but
Sure.
let's get started probably.
You never heard it.
No,
That's great.
that's great evidence.
That goes on for 3 minutes straight.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the closest I came to something like that down there is I was taking a group down to the hanging tree. Were you familiar with the hanging tree?
Yeah, hanging tree. We hung stuff on there.
Yeah.
I
So
heard-
you go up to the top of the driveway, then you take a right down to the end of the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was down there and I had a group of, like 4 or 5 people with me. And at the hanging tree and doing a, EVP session, trying to grab something. And this car pulled up and said, "You guys better get going because there's a mama bear and 3 cubs heading your way right now." Yeah, right. And it's like, okay, you think ghosts are scary? Wait until you have a mama bear heading your way. Yeah, so we just turned around and started right at the driveway. And it's like, hey, try to walk quiet, but try to walk quick. And got back up to the house. But I had a lot of great experiences there. The first time I was there was during an electrical storm, and the house just became alive. The house was vibrating. Dolls were turning towards people.
Oh.
That happened downstairs. I was upstairs doing an EVP session, and my buddy Johnny downstairs started yelling for me and said that this doll just turned and just like faced him. And that night I had probably the most experience I ever had in one night at a location. And doing a EVP session up in Mary's room, which I know you recall, and Johnny's sitting in front of me, and he's, what's that?
I stopped in Mary's room.
Oh, you slept in Mary's room.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. And so, but we were there, and in there, I was sitting on the chair across from Johnny was on the bed, and he started feeling that classic burn on his back, and turn around, and he's a big dude, and turn around and right down the middle of his back, you could see just these scratches forming, and they were forming right in front of my eyes. And so that was just, okay, let's go downstairs and go outside for a few minutes. And yeah, that place, we're going back there in September. and that place just
Wow.
never disappoints. And yeah, but
I'll
as
get
far
back
as
to it
big,
again.
yeah, oh, yeah, you gotta, yeah, Bigfoot. I've only done one Bigfoot investigation. It was kind of very small. It was a place called the Virgin House, and they had a lot of Bigfoot sightings around there. That's about 45 minutes to an hour southwest of Rochester. And yeah, I did a small investigation there. Didn't really grab anything, Bigfoot wise, but of course paranormal. That place was very good and very active. So that kind of made up for it. I don't do much as far as Bigfoot hunting. Those guys are a totally different breed. They're very serious,
Oh, we
to where
were.
yeah, it's where they'll spend 3 days walking out into the woods, to find a place to camp, investigate for 3 days, and then spend the next 3 days walking back. And so that they're extremely committed. I've interviewed Steve Coles, one of the big ones, at the paranormal function that we did many years ago, and those guys are the real deal. And I'm a definite believer. I'm a definite believer that they are metaphysical and not necessarily blood and bone. And I kind of will I'll debate that with anybody. But yeah, those I see those instances of like UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings are definitely starting to ramp up, and they're starting to make their way more in to mainstream news. And so I think it's going to come to fruition soon, where they're going to reveal something that somebody caught, and actually verified that we have made contact, or we do have possession of, or something along those lines. I think that day is quickly coming.
Yeah, probably too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually aliens and UFOs and that stuff too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You gotta believe in that, and it's just people that say I don't believe in aliens, because I've never seen one, and that would be like going to the ocean, getting a tablespoon of water, and saying I don't believe in sharks because I don't see any in here. It's the same thing. It's just like the space is so vast and so big that they just found another galaxy here recently, and it was like 30 light years wide, which I forget the distance on that, but it was like 600 trillion. Don't quote me on this. I'm going by what I heard. But it was like 600 trillion miles equals 1 light year, and this is 30 light years wide. And it explains how big this is. So there, you can't think that there's nothing else out there. It's just impossible in my eyes. And I think that we're getting to the point now where, with the investigations and with that the sciences of that becoming more kind of mainstream and more household names, I think that they're gonna release something soon. Thinking that the public is ready to hear something true that's actually happening.
Right. I'm about an hour and 15 minutes from Wright Patterson Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be a big one.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you ever go to Rolling Hills Asylum up here?
No, I know we did a tour.
A tour? Okay.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think my friends were back without me.
Oh, did they?
Well, went the
Sound like
first
very good
time.
friends.
Went the first time they were doing lot construction, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that place is one that I like to go to at least once a year. That place, doesn't disappoint, just like Palmyra. And that was a location where I saw my first crawler, which is just something that I called it. I happened to be able to investigate there by myself once, and I was going down at the end of Spirit Hallway, and down at the end of Spirit Hallway, and I was doing an EVP session, and I just put my camera down on this table because I was going to have a seat, make myself comfy, and stay there a while and see if I couldn't catch something. But as soon as I, put myself on the table and turned around, I saw this spirit about 15 feet away from me come out of the wall. It wasn't a doorway, it was a wall. And it was crawling on its hands. And I saw this clear as day, stone sober, and walking on his hands. And it walked across the hallway. It walked up his hands, up the wall to where we're about eye level. And as soon as it got to that level, it pushed off the wall, turned around, slapped back down onto the floor, and then crawled back out of sight again. And that's something that I can still picture clear as day in my mind that I saw there.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a great great memory that I had there. And every time I go there, I get great EVPs, and it's just they have a lot of disembodied voices there, which just always kind of come out of nowhere. You'll be having a short conversation with whoever you're with, and then you'll just hear a scream off in the distance where there is nobody. So that's another great place to go. But up here we have quite a few. I mean, Buffalo, New York has a lot. Rochester has a lot, and it's definitely if you're looking to investigate, you don't gotta look far. It's just there are places all over the place.
Right. I think New York is about a 6-hour drive from here, so that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Yeah, and you're especially close to Buffalo, and Buffalo has some great locations between the train terminal, which is just this huge old train terminal. Iron Island Museum is one that we were just talking about before the podcast, and that's something that we're going to get into this fall. Iron Island is just one of those solid. It's been around forever. The energy and the evidence, the experiences, they don't dissipate. It's just everything is solid there. That's a great place to go. A lot of my members have already been there, and it's on my list to go. Van Horn Museum is a good one. It's another one there. The Naval Yard, I heard rumors that it stopped their tours, but I'm not sure. That's worth looking into. And so that'd be another one as well. And then when you move to the Finger Lakes, there's a lot. There's just a ton all over the place.
Yeah.
Easy Google search.
What's the name of that train station?
It's called just a Buffalo Terminal.
Buffalo Central Terminal.
Buffalo Central Terminal.
Okay. I'll write that down.
Yeah. That Iron Island.
Okay. Cool. So, that way you were at Bob Mackey's?
I was at Bob Mackey's, yes.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Were you or both of you there?
I'm a very seasoned investigator, okay? Like you said, I've been doing it for 20 years. And I would never go back to Bobby Mackey's. Well, now they knocked it down, so it's a movie.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. It was dark. It's a very dark place. I saw a girl get possessed there. And I accidentally filmed it. I had the camera running and I forgot to turn the camera off while it was happening. So we captured the whole thing on video cam.
I had a book written by, I forget his name, about that. It's called Hell's Gate.
Yeah.
And I bought that book. That's 20 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's written by Douglas Hemmings. I think that's his name.
I wouldn't go back there. I said that. Everybody, let's come back. Let's come back. I says, I'm never going there. I said, somebody got possessed there up in Carol's apartment.
Yeah. No, thank you. Well, that's enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes all takes. Yeah, boy. So, where else do you guys go? Oh, I guess share another video. Go on.
Oh, yeah.
What video we got? What is
The
this?
shadow from
Oh.
Rose.
I'm interested in the lady that was trying to speak. And we thought we heard a female voice. It didn't really sound like anybody upstairs.
I watched the appendage reach for the K2.
Yep,
Could that be a voice down
right at
here?
the top of it.
Yep, there it comes. Look at that.
Men seem to be dominating today.
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a location we started investigating a couple of years ago that we also did a public promotional investigation tour with, and held numerous public investigations there, as well as like festivals. We held one festival there as well, and that is just it was kind of a diamond in the rough, and it's just this old school that had a serious fire back in the 50s, and after the fire it became like a community center for the town of Rose, and we happened to get in there and just got a ton of evidence there, and just from everything, the footsteps to disembodied voices, EVPs, endless EVPs, and that's just another great location that
That's right up your alley, because that's the spirit box.
Yeah.
Capital of the world,
Yep.
right there at Rose.
Yep, and that's where we always did our only two, but so far 2 of our evidence reveals. Where last time we did, I think we had 60 people there, and we did our talk and everything, and that place has really just worked out well for us. Besides that place, we also go to like Greystone Manor is out.
Okay.
Yeah, just west of Rochester. That's Holly Madison's place.
Mm.
I've been down to Goat Island Inn down towards right near the Pennsylvania border, and that place is crazy. I've been there twice, and the second time I went, I was able to stay there by myself, the only person in the whole inn, overnight, and that place was really cool. I had if we do another show, I can send you more evidence that you can play from there.
Yeah,
And
fine.
I was sitting in this chair reviewing evidence, and I had a recorder, video recorder across the way in the hallway watching me, and that was the only piece of equipment I had going, and it was just me in the whole place, and sitting there go over evidence on my phone, and my recorder was picking up this deep, heavy breathing of something standing real close to it watching me. And I sent that to the owner the next morning, and she's like, I can't believe you stayed. And then I had lights going out on me, and off and back on. Middle of the night, I woke up to a shadow spirit moving back and forth at the foot of the bed. And when I told the owner about that, she said, well, can you tell me about it? And I said, yeah. I said, it was definitely female, only probably about 5 foot, maybe 5'2" tall. And she's like, that is the most seen spirit here at the inn. And it's like very cool. So I got to experience that as well. I was very lucky. And besides that, we where else have we been?
Where, as far as
The Phelps Hotel. Yeah, as far as other locations.
Wayne County Jail.
Wayne County Jail. Yep. Wayne County Jail, Wayne County Museum. Great investigations there. Those are very EVP based. Yeah, a lot up here is very EVP based. It's just like, I think that's very common, to where EVPs you get quite a few of, and actual visual captures are kind of rare. But that's something that is always very exciting to get. It says I'll use video cameras. I like using trail cams. I think trail cams are great. If you get the infrared night vision trail cams, have it set, to go off, when it senses something. That's something great that you can set up in a room and kind of walk away from, and it's not going to burn the battery out, because it's only going to go off when it catches something. And something we were just talking about tonight is just like some of our best places that we went to, have shut down for whatever reason. It's like there was a place in Newark, New York called the Newark Hospital, and that place we went to many years ago. That'd be around 2015. 2015.
December of 2015.
Yeah, and that place, it was just every hallway was you could hear screaming, and it was just stuff being thrown, stuff people being pushed, and that place, the owner was worried about insurance claims and stuff like that, so he shut that down pretty quick. Place called the Normandy Inn, that was another one where stuff would be thrown, disembodied voices, and yeah, a lot of the best ones that we want to go back to. Phelps Hotel that we spent 2 years working in. We had everything from full-bodied apparitions to screams down hallways, to stuff being moved. To that place was really wild as well. And like you said, Bobby Mackey's, that's probably the epitome of all of them. It's just that place was just torn down recently.
I heard that.
Like last year, I believe. So now we're talking about, going out of state and investigating some places. The team really wants to go to Gettysburg. I've never been.
I'll do Pennsylvania for over 20 years. I got out there. I was about 40 minutes down the road from Gettysburg.
Yeah. And I've been doing a lot of traveling out in Ohio, through Ohio, going down to Kentucky. And I do like the Mansfield Mansion, Ohio State Reformatory, do stuff like that.
How about do you go to New Jersey?
Which one?
New Jersey is the Burlington County Museum.
Okay.
That's prison, rather. Burlington County Prison. Also awesome.
Yeah, we like prisons, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can send some info after the show.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to meet up halfway, maybe we can work together.
We got the best evidence too.
Wow.
So, hey, you're talking about getting back on again, but what we all do is you guys can gather all the best evidence you have, and I've gathered all mine up, and we just do a night of back and forth hours. So,
we could easily do that. Yeah.
Be New York Paranormal and gasp.
Yes. Yeah, we can go on tour together. You can show us some places in Ohio. We'll show you some places in New York.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, what are you thinking about? Different places you want to go? I mean, it's right, like when you call dream locations, like that necessarily have to be in the States or or.
Can I just name one place?
Yeah,
Scott? St. Albans Sanatorium in Radford, Virginia. Absolutely off the charts.
I heard about St. Albans.
St. Albans. That's the one that's got the bowling alley in the basement. That place was phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw some video of a guy doing a walkthrough for that. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I always wanted to go to the Velasquez Axe House.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that one.
Yeah.
Up here we're getting, the word out, and we're starting to find some more locations here that are kind of like untapped. They have a lot of potential that we're going to start investigating.
Yeah. I use a walker now. To get around, but I still go out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
My eyes always looking, so always looking for something.
Yep. Amen.
I see. I'm a beer delivery guy is my day job, and I see quite a bit. Some of the locations I delivered to in Rochester, New York. I've seen at a distillery restaurant. I've seen a full-bodied apparition. I was in the basement of this distillery, and I got my beer down there, cases and kegs, and I turned around to go find someone to check it in. And when I turned around, I saw a guy wearing brown pants and a light brown and white plaid shirt.
Mhm.
And so I called out to him, and see if he could, help me out. And he kept walking. Well, I followed him, just thinking he didn't hear me, and followed him into this storage room, this concrete storage room. And when I walked into it, right behind him, I was, probably 10 feet behind him. But when I walked into it, yeah, there was nothing in that room. And it was a concrete storage room, and it had no windows, no other doors, no other ways to get out. And so he just went in that room and just kind of just dissipated, and just took off on me. And just recently, about a month ago, I was in a place in Mendon, New York, and this is a restaurant that promotes that they're haunted. And I've delivered there for the past 3 years, and once a week or for the past 3 years. Never really saw or felt much, but about a month ago, I was delivering there, and I was going to leave the basement, go upstairs to get my check from the owner. And when I went and turned and looked up the steps, I could see legs of a shadow person.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I couldn't see like the top half. I could see the legs. And when I saw him, they kind of shifted kind of back and forth like he was changing his step. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I didn't think much of it because, when you see so much, you kind of get numb to it a little bit. And so, but when I got up to the top of the steps and I turned to leave the stairway, it's just my head was just electric with that cobweb feeling, which I know you know about. And it was just, there wasn't any cobweb, very clean kitchen. And it went around my head. So whatever I was walking through was affecting me, and it was touching me. And so that was a very cool instance. And then a week later after that, I was going from Mendon, New York to Honey Hill Falls, New York. They're about 10 minutes apart. And I was driving past this cemetery. And when I just happened to look over, I saw just like this old farmer looking guy wearing blue jeans, coveralls, and the typical blue shirt, and standing there, and he had his arm on top of a tombstone that kind of came up, and it had looked like an upside down walnut. I don't know what it was, but up on the top of it, had his hand on top of it. And when I looked at him and kind of made eye contact, he was following my beer truck as I was driving by. Then he just disappeared right in front of my eyes, and that was very cool.
Oh,
So
wow.
you can see things anytime. You can walk past 2 or 3 ghosts a day and not even know it.
Yeah.
They blend right in.
I have a female here. I think I brought her from investigation a few years back. Yeah, sometimes she talks to me.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay, the other day I said, what do you want? And my wife says, what? So I said, someone said, hi, Scott. I'm like, well, I've been here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We get a lot of that.
Here.
Yeah, at my house.
Also, I have I call a shadow that one of my shows go behind me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'll send that to you.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep looking up like this because I'm looking in Larry's kitchen, because Larry's got, quite a bit of activity that happens here in this house as well. So I'm always kind of just like looking up, trying to catch something.
Oh, you would. If he's here long enough, he will. This place is very active.
For sure, still that. And the other day, I'll do shakes, and I put the empty bottle here on whatever, and back and flew off the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Not at all. Yeah. As long as something don't hit me or enough.
Exactly. Yeah. As long as it's respectful.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know.
my
It doesn't bother me any. No.
Right. No, me neither.
No. So.
my spirits aren't respectful to me at all. I had a picture fly off a cupboard that had been there for 3 years, right in front of this lady and I. And the most recent one was Mel in where my Godzilla collection is there. Mel and Jeremy had put a Sasquatch in a box.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone.
Yeah, stuff gets moved around here.
Yeah, it gets moved a lot around here.
Maybe it's you're haunted by a home interior person.
Yeah. I wonder if I brought one home with me. I often think
Yeah. You brought a woman home, that's what you did.
that. Yep.
Well, some she Dustin too. I see that. Do some chores.
Yep.
Oh my lordy. Yeah, like paranormal investigating, man. It's just I don't know what to do about it. I don't get out much anymore, but
Yeah.
I like to do a lot of EV work.
Sure.
Some of the people, the first group I got with, he wasn't, he has a founder. And I left the group before 2 years ago and started my own group. Because he was responsible enough.
I keep looking at the TV.
Yeah, I know.
I know. I keep looking.
I'm staring right down here.
There's two cameras.
Yeah.
It's like a new news station. Early's over here, not there.
Exactly. It takes a little getting used to.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, guys. How about I'm booked through July, but can you guys come back on August? You think?
Sure.
Like set something up when we do our custom EVs evidence I have, and
Yeah.
we do another every 3 weeks.
Yeah, shoot me or Larry an email, and then we can compile some of our evidence as well
Yep.
and send it out to you.
Send it to you. Yep.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot. So yeah, we can definitely do that.
This
Yeah, kind of do like a best of evidence review.
Yep. That'd be,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. So, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up here, and you guys want before we go, you want to say something about the group more than reach out and guys.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you having us on. And yeah, if you want to look us up, we're right on, we're at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, under New York Paranormal. And when you spell New York, it's just NY space paranormal is how you can find us.
Okay. I will also post it in comments after the show. And,
yeah, definitely.
We're also inviting you to come up for some investigations with us.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
I mean, then we got something going on. I have a couple that here I want to join. One of my other group members. So.
Okay.
Her name is Mel. So.
Yeah,
she's all fun. So just shoot it out. Let me know when.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch.
Yep.
That sounds awesome. Nice to have connection in New York.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got one now.
I love his house. I'm gonna get back to his house sometime, dude.
Oh sure.
Cause I got a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Okay, I got talk stuff together.
Yeah.
And, I'll reach out and get you a date. Maybe like early August.
Okay.
And we'll figure something out. So, guys, I'm pleasure having you all night. I'm definitely get back on again, like I said. And I guess till next time, happy hunting, everybody. And good night. And
thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Do that. Have a good night, guys.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, take care.
We should.